when are you to be captain, and when are you gonna fly a 787? Two questions I get a lot on my comments. Hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. And today I'm gonna discuss with you some bidding options I have as a pilot for my airline and what my future plans are as far as when I am gonna be captain or fly a 787. So it's a little bit about me. I was hired at this airline back in November of 2017. And everything at US Airlines, anyway, is based on seniority, date of hire. The day I was hired, I was put on a list according to how old I was. And if you are older, you're on top of the list. Younger, bottom of the list. I was pretty much so middle of the pack. And again, that first week or so, they had all of the openings for the airline as far as base, equipment, seat, that kind of thing. And we bid on them based on our age. Back then, I bid Dallas Super 80, flew it for a year. It was an experience. And then I bid the Airbus, and I flew that for 5 years as a first officer. Then, in November of 2023, September of 2023, I bid for Dallas 777 first officer. I got awarded that and went to training February of 2024, and that's where I've been ever since. So, it's a little bit about me and how I got to where I am now, at least a very short story. So, my airline puts out a vacancy bid 3 to 4 times a year, and it's just openings they currently have based on people retiring, quitting, upgrading to captain, new aircraft deliveries, that kind of thing. So we are getting new aircraft here. We're getting some XLRs here, Airbus XLRs. So when the vacancy bid comes out, every pilot on property can kind of take a moment and think, do I want to stay where I am? I'll go somewhere else. Could be different base, different equipment, different seat kind of thing, right? So it's an opportunity for say if you lived in Dayton, Ohio and commuted to Chicago on the 737, but maybe your spouse really wants to go down to Miami, you could bid to Miami, try it out, see how it goes, and maybe stay down there or say, you know what, that's a horrible idea, I'm going back to Chicago. And it doesn't require a vacancy bid to change equipment, to change bases, because here, anyway, there's a 737 base in Chicago and Miami. If there was a Miami pilot that wanted to go to Chicago pilot wanted to go to Miami, they could trade bases that way. But a vacancy bid is another way to change bases. So on the current vacancy bid, I'm only going to talk about what really pertains to me. I'm not talking about the whole bid because it's a really big bid. What pertains to me, there's 195 Group 2 captains and 80 Group 4 captain slots and 30 Dallas 787 slots. Because people are going to ask me about Group 4 captain. Where I currently work, we have 4 fleet types. 737, Airbus series, 777, and 787. The 737 and the Airbus are Group 2 aircraft. The 787 and 777 are Group 4 aircraft. There are currently no Group 1, 3, or 5 aircraft on property. So, a lot of captain slots are open. And again, this is all by seniority. Now, as far as what is in Dallas for me to bid, because again, I don't care about anywhere else. I am not going to commute for an airplane. That's not who I am. I live 9.9 miles from the largest base at my airline. Why would I want to commute? Exactly. So, for pertains to me in Dallas on this bid, there are 20 Airbus captain slots, 20 737 captain slots, and 30 787 first officer positions. Now, I've been on 777 for a year and a half so far, and I do have a 2-year seat lock, meaning I can't leave the 777 for 2 years unless I upgrade to captain for the first time. So I've never been captain at this airline before. I have been captain before at my previous airline. I've never been captain here. So if I wanted to break my seat lock, I could bid the Airbus or 73 captain. I'm including Dallas 787 just because people ask me about it so often. I feel it's necessary to include it in my discussion today. So there are, again, 30 slots for Dallas 787 first officer. And as far as my seniority goes, right now, as we sit here today, before the bid has been run, I cannot hold Dallas 787 first officer. I can hold 787 in other bases. No. So right now, as we sit here today, I am number 8190 roughly in seniority. The closest, the bottom 787 first officer in Dallas is over 600 numbers, senior to me, meaning I can't touch 787 Dallas right now. There's a chance with the 30 openings, maybe I could, but one, and it makes no sense for me to do that, right? If I'd be the bottom pilot. Pretty sure I'd be the bottom pilot on the 787. That's not somewhere I want to be. Everything at the airline is seniority based, and being the bottom pilot is almost never a good time. So no, thank you. Now, as far as where I am currently on the Dallas 777 list, I am number 227 out of 309 pilots in Dallas for the first officer on the 777. And I'm going to deal with some percentages here. My percentage of seniority is around 73%. So 27% of the pilots are below me, 73% of the pilots are above me on the Dallas 777 list. So where I am currently, I have been holding a line ever since, I want to say, this January of this year. Pretty consistently, when I wanted a line, there's 1 month in June I couldn't hold a line because they moved some pilots temporarily down from New York. That destroyed my seniority. But July, August, September, I've held a line as a pilot in Dallas 777. So I like holding a line. It's a set schedule. I can move my trips around, more flexibility in what I do and where I go, kind of thing. System-wide on the 777, just to give a global outlook, or company-wide outlook anyway, I am number 761 out of 989. So almost the same spot, 3/4 away-ish, back in dynamic math, up the seniority list of a system-wide Dallas 777. Now, as far as the seniority goes on my current aircraft, the most senior pilot on the 777, system-wide, they were hired way back in July of 1987. I was 10 years old. Very senior aircraft. And if you're not in the industry, it's kind of hard to grasp this, but a lot of pilots would prefer to be a senior wide-body first officer than even a mid-seniority or junior wide-body captain. I have phone with these people. They have a better quality of life. They get better trips. They get the trips they want, and they end up making more money than the wide-body captain they're flying with. Now, they have to work the system a little bit to do it, but there are perks to being senior in your spot versus mid-seniority or junior on the same aircraft, even though the pay differential can be quite substantial. As far as the most junior 777 first officer at my current airline is a November 2021 hire. So about 4 years-ish to be a wide-body first officer at my airline on the 777. And seniority gets so big and so fast quickly. And then as far as, again, I do live close to the biggest base at my airline, period, and the biggest 777 base. The next biggest base for the 777 is in Miami. They have about 90 fewer first officers than we have here in Dallas. So that's just kind of a global outlook of overview of what I'm dealing with right now. Now, I talked to you about the 787, can't hold it. I could bid it on the next bid because my seat lock could be up by then. I'm probably not going to bid it, to be honest. Let's go with where I'd be most senior, which would be Dallas Captain 737. I'd be number 344 out of 561 as we sit here and talk right now before the bid closes. So I know I can hold it, right? I'd be about 61% seniority. Solid line holder. And I looked at their schedules, right? I can see their schedule every single month, and they're all holding 4-day trips, Sunday through Wednesday. The average look around my seniority, there's always different things, but around my seniority. 74 hours of credit, 15 days off. So that's not bad, right? 74 hours credit, 15 days off, partial weekends is pretty good at my current seniority. But I have less than a zero desire to fly a 737. I've been on the 737 jump seat enough to know that it's not somewhere I want to spend 74 hours a month of my time, even 3 to 4 hours at a time. It's very narrow, cramped, antiquated. It's a fine aircraft. It can do missions the Airbus absolutely cannot. It has many perks to the 737. I don't want to spend that time there for me. If I had to, if my airline said we're only going to have 737s in Dallas, suck it up, kid, I'd fly 737. But we have choice, so 737 will not be for me. Now again, I mentioned at the beginning, I came from the Airbus. Spent 5 years in the Airbus. Dallas Captain Airbus, I'd be number 623 out of 796 as we sit here today before the bid closes. I'd be about 78% seniority. Way more junior than I am right now. I looked at the bid, people around my seniority, and in August, they were all reserve. All of them held reserve, period, point blank. No one held a line, even plus 30 senior to me. For September, many of them did hold a line. And I believe it's a few reasons that came into effect why this happened. One, there's less flying in September. So a lot of people, because people go back to school and back to work kind of thing. And some pilots take advantage of that and bid reserve to not be used. Another facet that helped people have more lines this month was because the airline and the union came together and changed the amount of hours required to hold a line, and they reduced it. So by reducing the threshold that they must meet to hold a line, more pilots held a line. So, and what kind of trips do they hold? Well, not really good trips, in my personal opinion, but that's something I want to do right now with my current life. They held 4-day trips. Let me get the right thing here. 4-day trips and 77 hours, 14 days off, and working weekends, and getting 10 legs per trip. So it's not somewhere where I really want to be, per se. It's a fine aircraft. I love the Airbus. But right now, I'm working 3-day trips, right? 3-day trips. Leave day 1, come back day 3, 1 leg out, 1 leg in. So as we sit here today, I'm not bidding Airbus Captain. And I'm probably not going to do it until I can successfully hold and consistently hold 3-day trips, weekends off. Now, I do work some weekends right now on the 777, but I have the flexibility to trade around and not have to work weekends if I don't want to work weekends. So the question is going to be, what about the pay difference, Darren? Aren't you losing money as a 777 first officer versus being a captain on an airbody? Well, let's look at the numbers. So just looking at narrowbody captain pay, group 2, the pay rate is a lot higher than mine. Is at my current pay step, it would be $363.87 per hour. Now, I'm going to use the higher number of the Airbus captains getting 77 hours a month credit. That would be about $28,000 a month. I would make just pure hourly wages, not factoring in anything else, because our pay is so complicated. There's international pay, there is premium pay, makeup pay, there is all kind of facets that can come in. I'm just going to hourly pay just that because it gets easier that way. So $28,000 a month as an Airbus or 73 captain pay at 77 hours per month. On the 777, I'm at $304.54 per hour. Now, if you follow my videos, every month I almost always get London. Pure London, 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 London. The average London trip, I'm going to call it 19 and a half hours. At 19 and a half hours, at my pay rate, I'm being paid $23,754 a month. So I am making less. How much less? Well, about $4,200 less a month baseline than I would make as a captain on the narrow body. But again, it's not all about pay. But in my head, I'm thinking, hey, I want to make sure I'm not leaving anything on the table. So in order for me to be at parity with, as a wide-body first officer with a narrow-body captain, I have to pick up 1 more trip a month. But again, they have 14 to 15 days off per month. I have 18 days off per month. I'm working 4 3-day trips right now, right? 4 3-day trips, that's 12 days a month I'm working to make that $23,754. If I were to pick up 1 extra trip, even just a Hawaii trip at 15 hours and 45 minutes worth of credit, I would then be at parity, close enough parity with the narrow body captains. And again, I would still have my 15 days off per month. So it's really the same days off per month, but now I'm doing 10 legs per month versus they're doing 10 legs a week. Again, to each their own. There's perks to both fleets. So that's where I am right now. Last time I did the math, I've been averaging about 97 hours a month credit on the 777. Some months I absolutely, because someone's going to comment this, some months the airline caps our hours per month around 80 to 85 hours a month, sometimes 83 hours a month. And those months, I can't be on parity easily with the narrow-body captains. But other months, I exceed it greatly. I've had months of 140 hours. Last month, I had 136 hours. So those high months and the average months around 80 hours, they average out to about 97 hours a month of credit that I've been getting since I've been on a 777. So again, if I just pick up that one Hawaii trip, then I'm at about 500 hours more a month than I'd be as a Airbus captain. I still have one more day off than they do, and I'm working fewer legs. And for me, it works. It's a different kind of flying, and that's so cliche, and I heard it so many times when I was an everybody first officer, but it really is. The workload is spread around multiple pilots. It's just one leg out, and it's one leg in. I like what I do. I've been fortunate enough to be able to nap when I need to nap. Going to London, going to Europe, I'm able to adjust the time zone quickly. For example, on my last trip, I did where did I go? I went to London, mid-afternoon arrival, got there around 11 a.m., got to the hotel around 1, took like a half an hour power nap because I wasn't that tired, and powered through and went to bed at 8:30 that night. 8:30 that night, London time, which is 2:30 in the afternoon, Dallas time. Slept almost the whole night through till the next morning, around 7:30, 8 in the morning. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to adjust my time, my sleeping habits just fine. I can nap when I need to. I often take a nap before a flight, before a trip, an hour or two nap before a flight. And it helps me, and I've had no problem adjusting to that at all. So that is my current situation. Staying 777 first officer for now. Back in napkin math, I'm guessing it'll be about another 1.5 to 2 years before I really want to be a captain on the Airbus, but we'll see. I have about 17 years left in this industry. I can hold 777 captain, I think, my last 10 years. So that's the current plan. My name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. If you don't mind, will you please click subscribe, drop a comment, click like. Have a great day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.